Hello, you lovely, lovely people. The content I'm making today is regarding a foreigner upsetting his Filipino neighbour and what happened and how it happened. And, to start off at the very beginning, this foreigner and his Filipino wife, they were buying land. And it was in the area of his wife's family. In other words, she came from that area. So the guy they bought the land off, the land he was selling was adjoining where he lived, where this Filipino lived with his family. So they bought the land without a title. Okay, now that's the first no to do. But of course, this Filipino, he promised that the title would come. He was very nice. Of course, he's going to be very nice to this foreigner and his wife, because they were parting with their money. So of course he's very nice. Yes, sir, no problem. You'll get the title. I will write you out a deed of sale. Blah blah blah, which he did, and he said the title will follow. So I don't think this foreigner knew how it works here. Many don't, but his wife should have done. She should have known more than what she did. So they bought the land and built a house, and time went on, and at this particular time, like I said, they built a house, and the guy they bought the land of was their neighbor. So this foreigner, I won't mention no names, but this foreigner is quite irate. Let's put it that way. He's quite irate. He gets angry very quickly. So he kept on asking about this title. Where's the title? What's happening with the title? We need the title. And the guy, the neighbour, because by this time he's had the money, okay? So he's starting to get a little bit shirty with this foreigner. And then the foreigner gets all upset as well. So they are now on bad terms. And that's the last thing you want, is to be on bad terms with your neighbours, whether it be a Filipino or a foreigner, but more so Filipino. And anyway, this Filipino, in the end, he got so fed up with this foreigner and his wife asking for the title that he threatened to him. He threatened. So then this foreigner and his wife went and made a case, a blotter, whatever you call it, at the barangay. So they went to the barangay, and this Filipino was called to the barangay as well. It just made matters worse. The barangay captain didn't really side with the foreigner, which is very rare they do, to be honest with you. They join ranks. They kind of take care of their own. And I've experienced that in a motorcycle accident, where even the police joined ranks with the Filipino that had an accident with me. But my saving grace was there was CCTV, what showed that what I was telling the police was I was in the right, basically. So they couldn't do anything else but agree with me. Otherwise, I'd have had to pay a lot of money to this guy who caused the accident to me. Anyway, it made matters worse in the barangay. Now they have confrontation all the time. And this foreigner decided to go to a solicitor, a lawyer, attorney as they call them here, and started off what would be an expensive situation that went on for 2 years. 2 years. The lawyer kept asking for money. The lawyer kept saying, yes, we're going to get it. We're going to get this title for you. I don't even know if it was surveyed. I don't know. But would you buy land that wasn't surveyed? No. Would you buy land without a title? Well, I'm going to be honest here, people. I did. This was surveyed, but the title, it was a portion of the mother title. Let me just say what happened to me quickly here. And the person who won the land lives here, and she's an ex-policewoman, which don't think because people are police or ex-police or this councillors that they're going to be forthcoming and honest, because they're not. When it comes to money, money talks here, and everyone listens. But anyway, we did get ours sorted out. It cost us a little bit extra money, but in the end, we got our title. Now, with this foreigner, it was getting worse and worse, because it was later discovered that the land he sold didn't even belong to solely him. It was part of the family's land, okay? Which happens all the time here. So, he paid the money for this land, okay? No title, and the title, it's been sorted now to a degree. But this neighbour was getting very aggressive, and he threatened to bang, if he carried on doing any more to this foreigner. So like I said, the barangay was involved, all this. They didn't really help. So, the attorney took a couple of years and he got something sorted out. But then out of the woodwork, this guy who sold the land next door, his family, a nephew or something, come on the scene and said, look, you couldn't have sold that land because that land is half mine as well. It belongs to me as well. So the guy that sold the land sold it with the intentions of getting the money and didn't care what happened after that, which happens a lot here, people. It happens a lot here. And they paid quite a lot of money for this land. And then the nephew piped up and said, well, that's my land as well. So he wanted money from this foreigner for him as well. So this story goes on and on and on. It goes on, and it's cost him so much money to get things straightened out, which is still not, I don't think, 100% straightened out, but I think it's almost there. The title has been done, but it wasn't just the nephew who come out of the woodwork. There was other people who come out of the woodwork when they realised what was going on, wanting their share of this money from the land that this guy sold, which didn't solely belong to him. That's why he didn't have the title. That's why he couldn't pass the title on. Anyway, I think he's got the title now. Well, he has. But the animosity, because he still lives there, the animosity that this has caused is kind of unbearable for them to live next to this guy, because he's trying to out the foreigner. And I mean, out him in the respects of playing loud music, dogs are barking, intentionally not stopping the dogs from barking, generally speaking, making his life very difficult. Now, people might say, well, fancy buying the land without a title. Listen, it's from every bit of land you buy here, every bit of land, there is probably a very small percentage where it's legal and above board from the very beginning. Very small percentage. And the people who buy this land, this even happens to Filipinos. Down here where I live, some of these Filipinos have bought land, and they still haven't got a title. They've just got a deed of sale. Which doesn't mean anything, really. It doesn't mean anything. The legal owners could turn up and say, well, what have you built a house? Who sold you this? Well, I've got a deed of sale from that person. Well, they weren't entitled to do that. Make sure you get that clean title and everything is above board. The taxes have been paid, things like that. And just don't piss off your Filipino neighbours, people. You're not going to win. You're not going to win because this guy I'm talking about, when this Filipino was playing loud music, he thought, I'm going to buy some big speakers too, and I will return the compliment, if you like. And they were blasting out. They were in competition. The Filipinos, they will not give up. They will not give up. And of course, you can go to barangay captains, you can make a case, you can do this. 9 times out of 10, it will be sorted out, but it'll be sorted out not in your favour. And apparently, you're like in a barangay, you keep doing things wrong and they can out you. The barangay captain can actually out you from that barangay. They give you so many strikes. I don't know how many it is, because there's a guy across the road here who is a Filipino and he's always pissed. When he's sober, okay. When he's drunk, oh God, he causes trouble. Not with us, but you know, he just shouts and all that sort of stuff. But he's on his last warning now from the barangay. And the barangay said if there's any more trouble, they're going to out him from this particular barangay. I didn't know they could do that, but apparently they can. But it's not just that, it's the trouble in which they cause. You know, you being a foreigner and you upset a Filipino here, they won't forget for a start. They simply won't forget. And some of them play the long game, where they will just bide their time. They will bide their time and they will get you some way or another. They could get you by simply damaging your car, puncturing your tyres. When you piss off a Filipino, like I said, they don't forget. And it's happening now to this foreigner. So he's bought a place, built a house, spent a lot of money. He's trying to sell the place, now he's got the title, but it's too expensive. No one wants to buy the house because it's just so expensive. Not expensive for what it is, because it's a big house. It's got a beautiful, it's in a beautiful place, but he can't sell it, and he wants to move out of there. I think he even wants to go to a different country, to be honest with you. I think he's had his fill, but he's finding it very difficult to get rid of it. And all the time he's there, this animosity with the neighbour is ongoing. So a lesson learned here, people, is which we all try and do, is buy things legally. But here, it's very difficult. It's not as easy as what you think. Even if you go through a broker, some of these brokers are shady as well. Some of these brokers are very shady. I know somebody here, and he's got land, and he's selling the land. He's selling the land in portions, in slots, and the land isn't his land to sell. It's a relation of his, but apparently he's got permission to sell the land. But has he? Just because it's hearsay, you think, oh yes, he's got permission, it's okay, no problem at all. And he'll say, yes, it's no problem. And if land is too cheap, there's probably something in that as well. My neighbour here, my Australian neighbour, before he bought this place here, he was going to buy some land from this lady who said the land belonged to her. It didn't. It belonged to her sister. And her sister was living in Canada. She married a Canadian. She's a Canadian citizen now. She's been there for 25 or 30 years. And she was trying to sell her sister's land to my neighbour, who is Australian. So there is no morals here. They will do anything. Some will do anything to earn that peso. Be very careful. And this is why a lot of foreigners, I think, don't buy land. And I totally get that, because when we got this place here, and there was a bit of shady stuff going on, but finally we did manage to get it sorted out. But it was a worrying time, because what we was led to believe was we had a deed of sale with all the paperwork, all the taxes and everything like that, but the portion of the mother title, that's sealed and that's stamped and all that. Well, we didn't get that. And the lady said, don't worry, it's coming. But anyway, it didn't. We had to sort it out ourselves. So we had to pay for that, pay for the solicitors. But anyway, it was sorted. But it can easily happen. I don't know where to buy land where the chance... JRC Visa and Consultancy, and they got offices in Cebu and Manila and places, maybe Dumaguete, I'm not sure. I don't know. But I think they are probably the safest place to get information and for them to do the whole thing for you. They're very clued up, very, very clever. It'll cost you a bit of money, but a bit of money can save up front, can save you a lot of heartache and trouble in the long run. So that's what I would say, people. Buy land if you want to buy land, but make sure that title is legal and above board, and that land belongs to the people who you're buying it off, you know. Because, like I said, and there are so many people, there are so many families living here where they bought land and they've been here for 20, 30 years and still haven't got a title. Still haven't got a title, but they don't seem to care. I said, no, it's okay. And some of this land, which we thought that this land was all good and legal, but part of the land further down, thank heavens it wasn't our part, belonged to the bank where she took a loan out on the land. So that part down there, I thought, oh no, it can't be ours, surely. So that land that she sold it actually belongs to the bank because she hasn't paid the loan back. So the bank will come and take that eventually. What about the poor people? And they are Filipinos who's bought land and built a house. Beggars believe, people. So don't upset your Filipino neighbours, and make sure when you're buying land, you're getting that title. You know, everything is legally above board. The survey's been done. You got all the paperwork. Take care, people. Anyway, listen. Have a Merry Christmas. It's Christmas Eve tomorrow. It was the night before Christmas tomorrow. Have a lovely time. Listen. Thank you very much for taking the time. Take good care, people. Bye bye.